Okay, hey guys, what's going on? We are the BH Mercs, and today we have brought to you another podcast. Yes, another podcast. And today's topic, what? Okay, yeah. Anyways, today's topic will be about artificial intelligence. So, just before we get into the discussion part of it, I mean, you guys, all of you, those who are watching this video right now, all of you know how big AI is right now, how much it's in demand. Like you have got concepts
Yeah,
like machine learning, deep learning. You see your chat GPTs, you see your any other automation based applications, or even the robots, or like any sort of AI, even Siri, even Google, anything that you see right now, it's all everything has become AI now, and that's kind of become a buzzword. So yeah, that's what we are here to talk about, how it will affect the next 10 to 15 years of mankind, and how it is currently going on, how much it can develop. Like we'll be talking about almost everything that we can think of. So yeah, you can just talk about it anytime.
my favorite AI is Oblivion NPCs.
We'd rather
What
not
is
talk
your
about it.
favorite AI?
My
Oh,
favorite my favorite AI are the NPCs that roam this earth.
yeah, good. Yeah, Rune, what's your favorite AI?
Your mom. I
Man,
mean,
he
basically,
had
what
to
Siddharth
he
said.
had to pull that. He had to pull that out.
I mean, like,
Not
if we, no, like, if we are talking about in general, we are still in the early phase of like looking at how much an AI can work. But if we talk about what is my favorite kind of AI, I'll be saying Skynet. I mean,
Are you are you
that's
are you
what
sure?
like
You mean the
everyone.
Terminator? You mean from the Terminator?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
I mean, just
Skynet
imagine
AI
like
is
people.
pretty advanced. I gotta say. What about the Matrix
Yeah, I mean,
AI?
That's also pretty
Matrix
good.
AI, right?
I think that's a
Yeah,
good idea for a lore. Like actually, that's a good lore. The whole the AI simulation theory. What basically Matrix brought up. One of the best lores of
yeah.
probably this century.
See, Matrix is a
Well,
basic
see the reason.
term
What
where we use layers and etc.
I thought
I
Matrix
mean,
was born by
we use
Andrew Tate.
matrix functions for ten. I mean, it's also called as tensors. I think in more computational terms, it's called as tensors and etc.
Just dumb it down for the normies out there. I'm sorry if anyone got offended,
Uh,
by the way.
no, let them figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna Rick and Morty it, aren't you?
I don't care.
Obviously you don't. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So
But yeah, actually, like AI is being used everywhere. Like I think in my opinion, I mean, people keep on giving movie references like iRobot and all that. We were like talking about that earlier, right? And how
Mhm.
AI can become like destructive.
No, I
It can overthink us. Like, what do you guys think about that?
no, can't.
I mean, obviously, right
they
now it
can't
won't
hear.
do all
They
that,
can't.
but like imagine probably like 15, 20 years down the line when
No,
AI
still
has like
can't.
still won't. Like,
Yeah.
No, it won't.
why do you think so? Like, I'm
I
just
mean,
curious. I'm
see,
just curious.
the idea of AI has been there since long time. Ever since we started creating machines as such to make their own holistic, you know, iterations. So it's nothing like I think, yeah, it's just going through a machine learning and etc.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
mean, that is true. Like what you said, that AI has like, been in like the talk since like I think the 50s or the 60s, if I'm not wrong.
No,
But
it basic concept started from 1830s,
yeah, even
nearly
older.
200
So
years.
so yeah, it's like ever since the computer was like first designed, or like the first designs of the computer. But yeah, I mean, right now this like the development, the rapid development which is happening. I mean, you see your generative AIs, you see your like Chat GPTs, you see like companies like Google, Microsoft, IBM. They're developing these next level AIs. So I mean,
See,
considering the amount of like the size of the data sets that these guys, these AIs, they're being trained on, like there could be also a chance, right, where you're like even the
no,
emotional aspect of humans.
may, maybe yeah, but I don't think so. Like emotional aspect. See, whatever it is, you're training it with layers and weights and etc. You're basically adding each and every layer of data set. Layers are basically the first data set you want to train to a system. You're creating a system, which is a machine or system, whatever, and you're giving it layer. The layer is basically the first data set you wanted to learn. Then you add another layer or how much ever layers you want. With those layers, all those layers are different datas. Like let's just say I'm running an experiment. Each and every experiment has some data. I'm collecting all those datas and putting it into like layers.
Okay, yeah,
Before
yeah,
we
that's true.
give these layers, before we give these layers, we use weighted averages. Basically, this data which we are getting now will have a lot of errors. We can't give bad data. Bad data will give us bad results. So,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
even the
And
error percentage will be high.
yeah, I mean,
So,
even what happens is that like I'm not sure if you know about like overfitting and underfitting. Like these are just like basically what happens in overfitting is that there's this basically there's this training data set, and then there's this validation data set. So it's like kind of the training and testing part of it. In that a, a certain model, it will like perform really well in the training part, but it doesn't perform. It performs so well in the training part that it doesn't perform well in the testing part as well. Like there are like various anomalies, various noise that that is created, and then you have underfitting, which is like it's crap in both training as well as validation. But some like probably sometime like down the line there could be such a case where it's like perfectly fit, where it's like it's doing exceedingly well on the training as well as the testing data set. So I think like that's where, since like machine learning concepts like machine learning, even neural networking, they like the system, the model, it kind of adapts, it keeps on adapting with each input that you give it. I think such data
yeah,
sets might eventually not overthink, but at least they can somewhat reach our level. But that's
no,
yeah,
it
that's still
still won't because
quite a
no,
ways.
it still won't. The main reason is whatever data set we are taking and inputting into the machine, we want a specific working of that machine. We are not giving it, you know, full freedom. There is a boundary to which what it can know and what it can't.
Yeah, I mean that's how
So when
AI
it
is a
comes to
model,
that,
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly,
So
exactly.
when it comes to that, we are we as people who design AI and etc. I'm not designing any AI, but yeah, the people who design AI, or if you want to ever design AI, it's for a specific use. So it doesn't need to overthink or underthink or whatever. It needs to do an input. It has the whatever answers and data. Then it gives out whatever output we require. Nothing more than that.
Yeah, exactly. And
So
I
we
think
can
the
just
best, yeah,
generalize.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I mean I was just saying that we can just generalize the whole idea of AI to be based on the output or the need of the person who wants that sort of AI, right? So let's say if you want an AI to like make food or create a certain type of new dish, it won't be making a recipe on how to cannibalize people because we have provided a data set on certain ingredients, and it has to work during under those ingredients itself, right?
Yeah, I mean, it technically
I
won't
mean,
unless you tell it to. Like that's the only thing.
yeah,
So it would, yeah, it won't do it on its own. That you're right about that.
yeah. I mean, that's where the training of the model comes in.
Yeah,
If we train the model to act in that way, it will work that simply, that way
yeah.
only.
I think the best example I can give of how basically machine learning or artificial intelligence works to like like those who are watching and those who don't know anything about AI, they just know that yeah, there's something known as AI. In my like the best example I can give them is like imagine you have a child or you have just have a kid who's right now going to school and he's learning stuff and all that. It's like you're learning stuff. You're like you have a syllabus. You learn certain chapters. You either read them, you learn them, you either do rote learning. I mean, you understand the concepts, you do whatever, and then you're given a test. You're given exam. You're giving an exam, and then the result is basically what what how much you've learned is basically how much you've learned of that concept. So like in a way, that's how the model works. The AI model works. In the training data set, whenever you're giving a training data set to the model, that's when you're teaching it concepts, like different concepts, whatever it may be within its domain. And then the exams, the testing data set that you have, that's basically the exams that you're conducting. You're basically testing the data set, how good it is. And then it gives you a certain accuracy or certain, like there are many parameters actually. It's not just accuracy. You have other concepts like recall, F1 score. So they basically help you in giving an analysis of how the model has performed. So mostly it's like if you get like 90 plus accuracy on any model, it's quite good. Just like how you get an A grade or an A plus grade or an O grade, if you're in like college and all. Like how you get the highest grade possible when you're in like the 90s or just like 91 to 100, whatever is the highest range. Like that's the easiest example I can give of how artificial intelligence works. Like the only difference I would say between a human being learning a concept or a subject and the machine or any AI model learning the same concept is that humans can actually think for themselves, and they have like, I mean, obviously the emotional side aside, they can actually like logically they can deduct it themselves because like that's how the brain works. And the AI model, it just thinks within its own domain. It doesn't like think out of the box, like what you can say. It's like it's much narrower than how what a human thinks. I mean, obviously that changes when you introduce like concepts like neural networking and all that. But like that's I can say that's one of the main differences. That what's the difference between a human brain and a binary brain. So I think like AI. I mean, yeah. Basically, to conclude, like AI wouldn't like overthink us so soon unless you are given like unless there's this some mad guy who's just trying to teach the AI like bad stuff and then just telling us to like giving us biggest data set ever, creating the biggest data set ever, and just telling the AI, your main goal is to overthink and like overthink the humans and just go for conquer. That's like basically what sci-fi movies are like, iRobot and all your other those kind of sci-fi movies. Because what happens normally is that unlike humans who like there can be some bad apples out there like those people who join gangs or like just commit crimes. AI normally doesn't do that. They don't have any bad intentions, ill intentions. Like all of them don't have any bad intentions unless the data set itself contains ill intentions. So that's like, unless you tell the AI that, yeah, your main objective is to destroy the human race. I will give you this data set on how to destroy the human race, nuke them, just mass murder them, do whatever. I will give you this data set. Unless you do that, you AI won't be the end of us. I mean, when people say that AI will be the end of us, the end as such is just right, like just making them unemployed. I think that's the end, that the only end I can think of. Like, I don't think there's anything beyond that. I mean, we won't have like World War 4, World War 5 with like humans versus AI. It won't be anything like that. It's not like Counter Strike or something. The end
I
the
think
end. You were saying
I
something?
think the sci-fi movies has created a certain kind of stuff like that. I mean, AI's impact is it's not exactly AI as an impact. See, whatever we are doing, no AI. The only way AI can work is through website. If you don't have website development or web dev or any other stuff, none of this AI or anything is good thing.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
even a machine. You
yeah,
need a hardware stuff.
yeah, exactly. I mean, see. You brought up the topic of like the sci-fi movies and all that. I wouldn't blame the movies as such, because they're just like imaginative pieces of work. Like, even if you take the Matrix, like, people talk about the simulation theory, but the Matrix, it didn't intend to create a conspiracy or something. It just, in the end, was just some guy using his imagination and just writing it down. Like, that's how the Matrix was made. It was just an interesting concept that was just serialized. I think the only problem is that people take this AI to be like the six creating the six mass extinction or something, is like, that's just like way out there. I mean, people can believe it, but it's just bullshit. Oh yeah. I think, yeah. What else was I talking about? Was Yeah, basically AI, the end of AI as such is just taking away human jobs. Like, if you consider like self-driving vehicles, they take away the job of a driver. Or if you just take like automated bank systems.
Or let's just say for customer service. Um, yeah,
Yes, service
customer
sector, yeah, service
service,
sector is
call
going to
center,
be highly
call
impacted.
center, call center people are the ones who are going to lose their job. And in my opinion, if it's a good data set and it's a really good machine, I'm completely with it. I don't care. But there are certain cases where even they are required. Like recently, there was this food ordering app, like Uber Eats, like that. So I ordered a food like that. So they made a mistake on the bill. Uh, there was a chat option where whatever machine or anything will give a reply to what's the problem and etc. And it will connect to the correct or whoever is free of the customer service person. So then I can direct contact with them and get the problem solved.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the only field where AI can fully replace stuff. Other than that, in every other field, people are required. Otherwise, it can't run.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean, you are right. Just I would kind of like disagree on just it being only one sector. Like, as I mentioned, like self-driving vehicles will destroy the. I think a lot of I think it will destroy jobs, no doubt. AI will destroy certain jobs, like as you said, call centers, even as you might gave the Uber Eats example. It will even like
Uh,
it will severely impact the service sector as well, quite a bit. But it does destroy jobs, but it will create a new job. It will create more jobs, or it will create new jobs as well. So if you're actually creating an AI model, or you're creating a machine Like suppose you take the example of a bank. Like you have an ATM, that's fine. But what if you want to ask something about your savings account or your like bank balance, or you want to inquire about bank balance, or you to deposit certain amount, or you just want to like issue a check or something. Like you go to the person, right? You go to the person in charge, you ask them, okay, whom can I speak to, then they direct you, go speak to that person. So like instead of that, if you have like, if it's like completely automated, if you're like going through it on a screen, it will destroy those kind of jobs. It will take away the jobs from people in that sense. But it will also create new jobs. Like who's going to maintain those applications? Who's going to maintain those machines? It'll like more amount of machines will just give like higher. It'll create more jobs for maintenance, for testing, for quality assurance. So it's like kind of like a give and take. It's not going to be like it's not going to be a parasitic relationship. AI, like AI just conquering all the human jobs, and then all humans are left unemployed. That's not going to happen. It's going to be more of a symbiotic relationship where human like AI creates more jobs for people. Like that's how at least I look at it, and that's how I think that's how it's going to happen. Because as you see now, the IT sector also, many people are switching to IT now. Like I think one of my relatives, he had done basically, he had done a degree in chemical engineering. However, he wasn't getting any jobs over there in like any chemical factories, or even just doing research in general. So what he did was that he just went onto Udemy or Khan Academy. I'm not sure which course he used, but he took the course, he finished it, and now he's at TCS. So it does create quite a bit of jobs, and mainly IT. The IT boom that you see right now, it's a bigger boom than like what it was back then. So it's just exponentially increasing. And AI will be actually like helpful. Like it reduces human error as well. That's one of the main advantages. It reduces human error as well, provided the model itself has a good amount of accuracy. So it's a give and take relationship. It's not that, oh, AI is the end of humanity or something. That's not the case. If I'd say one species that would be the end of humanity, it would be humans themselves, not AI.
I mean, of course. Yeah, I think we have seen. Oh yeah, there is this new Oppenheimer release. Obviously,
Yeah.
you can see how stuff works. Just a difference of that's all.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I haven't like watched the movie itself, but I've read about Robert Oppenheimer, like how he has gone about stuff, doing stuff, and I just like read like
No,
a summary, brief
yeah,
summary of how his life was, and what all he has done. I mean, I can
yeah.
kind of see the point.
When the war even happened is because of difference of opinion, ambition, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I mean, lastly, to like just conclude the podcast, I would just I will just like ask you and Rohan like one thing. How what would you think would like happen, like in terms of what would you see and not see? Like what new things you would see and not see, like the differences, if there were like robots roaming the earth instead of humans. Like humans build the robots, but then there are only robots who are roaming the streets. They're like having normal NPC conversations instead of humans. Like what do you think, what differences would you see?
Lack of artistic value.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Like
I would
what else
I
would
would
Or
you
give
see?
a
creativity in general.
sorry.
Well, I was saying that if we are talking about cookie cutter robots or cookie cutter NPCs, which are basically coming right out of mold, acting as what they're supposed to do and not interfering in other parts or etc., then they lack creativity, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, AI, yeah, now that you mention about it, like AI art itself, like it hasn't fully developed. So if you want to like know the difference between normal art and AI art, you can see that like there are certain features that haven't been completely done. So if you want to suppose make an AI art of yourself, so you will see that either the hands or even like some parts like towards the corner of that certain art, the hands or even the feet, if like they wouldn't be properly like created, it'll just be like some
Yeah.
some random mashup of colors.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I would give a
I mean, that's basically the lack of proper this thing data set, or the AI is not able to like cover those areas because it's one
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. So like it's just not fully developed, but yeah, I mean, you see even like people keep on saying that, oh, AI art has like no artistic meaning, or like just that artistic flair like a human painter would have, which I can kind of see the point. But I
Yeah.
mean, I myself am not into art, so I have no idea how it feels, but I can kind of see where they're coming from.
yeah. It all depends upon the data set which you're using. Data set and the way of training also. If you're giving a proper supervised training to a level where we want perfection, yeah, maybe it will be good. Other than that, yeah,
I mean,
creativeness.
data is a kind of field which will never end.
That's why there is a
I
term
mean, unless we
robotic.
stop.
Term.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like I mean, it won't be perfect all the time, because it if you can see like you don't see any ML or AI models being like 100% accurate, right? You'll at the most you'll see is like 99 or like 99.99%. You'll never see
Yeah.
100% accurate one. Even Chat GPT itself is not 100% accurate, because
Yeah.
I use Chat GPT daily, and the solutions or answers that I get are not always accurate, or they're not always correct. Some of them are actually wrong. So like especially if you see in terms of coding and all, because I myself as a developer, I would say that sometimes the code that is provided by GPT is quite inaccurate. So in a way that like, I mean, Hootling, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in a way AI does apply a certain part of the second law of thermodynamics, where like no system is 100% accurate. They cannot achieve an efficiency of 1 or 100, basically. 1, basically.
Yeah, we could basically saying a perfect system. Ideal system is a theoretical concept, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it
exactly. So
comes,
like
I think,
ideal systems, like, yeah.
again, if you look at how AI or any machine learning process is done, what we mainly use is statistics and thermodynamics. We need statistics and probabilistic distributions and etc. That's how we do both. Yeah, thermodynamics is completely on statistical mechanics and other statistic models like uh, I think people might know Maxwell Boltzmann distribution, etc.
Yeah, they'll definitely know.
Hidden sheets and yeah, like that. So similarly, even AI is bound to these mathematical function of statistics. So yeah, there is a overlap on everything. So
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I mean, you have like different types of errors as well that come into play, right? I mean, other than human error, you have other errors. Like it, there can be like instrumental errors. I mean,
Yeah.
even though it's a software model, there are still instrumental errors, and there's even in the data itself, even in the data set itself, there is like random noise that might be present, or like just duplicate values. I mean, that's why you have like data scientists that do all these data validation processes so that it properly cleans your data, and it gives you like a refine. It's like how you extract minerals from ores. It's like there are like proper processes, right? Like proper metallurgical processes on how you extract a certain mineral. Like suppose you say extract iron from an iron ore. Like that's how data scientists do it. They like extract the clean and pure information and whatever like the necessary information from the entire set, and whatever noise or whatever duplicate values are left, they're just like chucked out. But even then, even when you are extracting all these clean values, it's not necessary that it's error free. There are bound to be some kind of an error or the other. That's something sadly you can't avoid. So that's why ideal systems, as you mentioned, ideal systems, they are ideal. They are not real. Like it's in the name itself. It's kind of like a comparison, as you can say, and it's a comparison for like real systems. Like how close to the ideal system can a real system get? So it's kind of like a parameter. So I mean, it is used a lot in thermodynamics, and the similar concept can be applied to AI as well. An ideal model will be present, and you just get your real model as close as you can to the ideal model. Okay, so like to basically just lastly to conclude this entire session, like what are your thoughts on AI as a whole? Like how how
Need
how,
better hardware.
okay. So like
Uh,
how do
to,
you say it is currently, and how far is it from like it being like actually as more transformational that it already is now?
go a lot of at least 20,
I
30
mean,
years.
AI is the whole AI thing is right now in its infancy stage. We are yet to see what we can achieve,
Yeah, exactly. It's
and
Yeah,
still
we are
it's
expecting
still
underdeveloped.
in
a lot
start.
of things.
And implementation of AI is something which is going to be complex. Like, where and all you're going to be, what are you going to We can't just, simply put AI and implement as like that. The implementation is where it's comes best.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And
if
people
we
have just like
implement it,
started just they just like started understanding properly how machine learning, deep learning with your like, neural networks, they have people have properly started understanding how it actually works. So like you like the smartphone was like innovated or founded like in 2006, and look at the development of smartphones now. Like the technological development that's happening is like it's rapid. So won't be surprised at all if once the same thing happens with AI as well, and all its related topics.
yeah,
Okay, so I think yeah, that's the end of the podcast. So yeah,
Mhm.
thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. If you're still tuned in, like, share, subscribe, or don't. Yep.
no, hit the notification bell because the only thing which is consistent than our video schedule is
It's basically everything else that's consistent.
yeah, yeah. So be sure to hit the notification bell or whatever you do, even if you don't subscribe on it.
Yeah,
So
you
you
can
get to
just
know that
listen to this even while you're just like chopping onions or something.
why. Yeah, yeah, fine. True. Or let's just say, like, if our voices didn't bore you enough, or you're not getting good sleep, you can tune into the podcast.
Yeah,
It'll be proper
if they
sleep.
weren't gone already, they'd be gone now. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and see ya.